How much are you paying for your groceries? We'll look at Canada versus Japan in this video. In the beginning, I'll kind of go over the price data hub here for Canada. This is from Stats Canada. We'll get more into Stats Canada stuff just on Stats Canada. Then we'll go into kind of Japanese. Then we'll look at Japan. This is more stats here, and then we can have some other websites that kind of look at some stats. And then I also have this Excel spreadsheet, which kind of shows, this is also kind of from like Japan version of like stats, where they kind of talk about, this is for, let's see what year it is, 2024. And it's showing basically comparison from like December 2023 to now in price changes. So you can see like tuna fish here. We'll go over it and stuff like that and compare it. So first we'll just look at kind of some Canadian prices, and I'll just give you some conversion ratios because my computer is acting up a bit. It's not letting me just Google some things, and I don't want to restart my computer like after I have all these notes ready. So we're going to take a look at just some prices here from Stats Canada. You can see this is kind of the consumer, how much money consumers in Canada, so people, how much are they spending at the grocery stores and stuff. So you can see kind of from COVID 2020 to 2023, it's pretty like high, or like near the end of 2022, and then 2023 it's starting to kind of taper down to these levels, even a bit less than what it was kind of before. So you can kind of see that, you know, prices probably increased, and then, you know, less people can kind of think about how much they're kind of spending on things. I think overall there's just been like, since COVID, just these prices have gone up. Just wondering, yeah, like looking at this, you can just see the food supply chain prices. So this is like production, the people who are making the food in agriculture. This is the processing and packaging. So you can see that it's kind of weird that like a lot of these are going down. It's costing less to actually fuel things because, you know, machines and stuff, technology is getting more fuel efficient. Crops are becoming kind of easier to kind of control, so that you're not spending a lot of money on kind of losing profits and stuff like that. You're just having better yields and stuff with things like that. Fertilizer is going down because they're inventing kind of more ways of making fertilizer. For instance, you know, everyone puts their compost out in like Canada and stuff like that, and you know, that's free fertilizer. You can also see of like the animal feed. So a lot of, you know, saving prices, but you know, livestock's going up. Obviously, like the price of the animals itself is going up with kind of these changes, and you know, you can see it's processing and packaging that's taking a lot of this. Right? We have a 10% increase in paperboard containers. Crop products are going down about 10%. So that's just probably about, I'm not sure exactly what that accounts for. You can come check out more if you want, or if you know something, let me know. But we can see animals and animal products, plastic bags and stuff like this. So plastic bags and plastic bottles are going up a little bit, but these paper containers, they're really, these eco freaks are really, they're gauging people and using people's gullibility to basically say, oh, well, you want to save the environment, right? Cha-ching! And they don't even have to do this. Like this is not like what they're paying for, right? Like it's the people who own the paper, and now they're selling it for a higher price because it's more socially acceptable, which I think is disgusting, but it's how the world works. If we look at truck transportation, it's becoming more efficient. Motor gasoline, more efficient. Diesel fuel, more efficient. But look at this. The people who already own stuff already are making a shit ton of money. They're increasing their wholesale markup, their grocery store markup, even though a lot of things I hear in Canada, politically wise, you know, they want to control grocery store prices. They want to do all this. How can you say that when that's not how it's? Look at the stats, look at the data. Take the data with, you know, a little bit of salt, because any metric you're reading, it's a lie. It's a straight up lie. You're never going to find the absolute truth with data. It's impossible. Anyone who tells you differently is just trying to manipulate you. And that's what I've learned through my experience in education, doing like data analysis and stuff like that. I've had to do it because this is my bread and butter, resource management. So let's look at some of the prices here. I'll do a bit of comparison. I'll try and be quick about it. Um, but yeah, let's see white rice, for example. 2 kilograms of white rice is going to cost you $9.11 Canadian dollars. So if I put $9.11 into just the Wise converter here, it's going to tell me that's 996 yen, which is closer to $10. Um, so it's about $10 for some white rice in Japan if you were purchasing it as a Japanese person. But maybe we can compare that if we look at food prices in Japan. So we can see the white rice here. So we can see we got to times this by like 20 to get it to what we wanted. But we can see it's about 54, 50, 58, 44 here. I'm not the best at math, I gotta be honest, so I gotta give me a little bit of patience here. If it's $9.11 for this, then I'm just going to divide that number in half to get it to 1 kilogram, which is going to be $4.56. So then if we then divide that again by 10, I believe, because it's 1%, we're going for 1 kilogram, right? 0.1. Yeah, so we divide that by 10. That's going to give us about 46 cents. About 46 cents Canadian. And so what this is in Japanese, if we converted this to Canadian, I'll do that quickly just to get the number, but it's pretty much like 58 cents. So we can see it's about like, for someone in Japan, they're paying about like 60 cents. And you got to understand their wages already, hasn't it? Like Japanese wages are going to be less than Canadian wages already. So it's already a bit chaotic because it's like, you got to take that into account, how much money people can actually earn and how far those dollars go. So if Canadian dollars go further than Japanese yen, and if the Japanese yen prices are higher, that means not only are the Japanese people under more pressure to buy that product because it costs more of their wage, but it also is even higher than international prices, right? So let's just take a look here. I put 0.4455 in here. It's about 50 yen. So white rice is about 10 cents cheaper in Canada than Japan. We can also do eggs here. We can see that it's 2.4 eggs. Why do they count it like 2.4 eggs? They're missing like the metric here. That's a bit of a oopsie. Maybe we can't really do that one because I don't know what 2.4 eggs is. It could be kilograms. It could be grams, most likely like kilograms, but
Maybe Japan and here the egg size will be different.
oh, so it's like the size of the egg, like a 2.4 egg.
No, maybe Japanese egg is smaller than
Let me see on the Canadian index here. Sorry, oops, hey one. I used the mouse pad here, so it's like flying around here. If we have 1 dozen eggs, it's $4.66. Maybe I'll just look at the price and maybe guesstimate what this is going to be. So they're saying 63 cents. It might be per egg, per one egg. So if I do like dozen eggs for, is that even right? Like a 4.66 for eggs? I swear it seems a bit. That might just be like the cheapest egg out there. I don't know. I feel like I pay at least like $6, $7, maybe $8 for free range ones, but maybe I'm wrong. I'll divide this by 12, which gets me about 38 cents, 39 cents Canadian. So it might just be per one egg in Japan. But yeah, take into account the size is probably different too. So, and the nutrients value. But Again, we have about, this is a huge difference actually. This is about double the price in Japan, because it's going to be about 38 cents um, Canadian, right? And then what is that in Japanese? Yen is about 42. So if we have 63 minus 42, it's about like 20-cent difference, but it's pretty close to almost double. Like it's increased a lot. So we can already see that, yeah, Japanese people are paying more for their groceries. I'll leave kind of these other ones up here if you want to check some other things. I'll leave all the links below if you want to compare more of the other prices, ground beef, things like that. But I'm going to get more into the um, what's kind of being spent here in Canada, so we can see. Um, let's take a look at our axes. If you ever done a data class, I always tell you to read the axis. So what do we got here? We got the food expenditure summary level categories. So this is things like cereal, what's being made, veggies, fruits, things like that. And then this is average expenditure per household. So how much do people usually pay for these products? And we're going to compare this to the Japanese monthly household food here. So you can see this, like, for comparison, we'll just start with meat, right? So Japanese people are paying about $60 a month, which is like, you can see, like 60,000 or 6,000 yen, sorry, which is like $60 because you pretty much just like take out the last two numbers and you convert with yen. But let's go to meat here. We can see, and let's make sure we get the year right. So this is for 2023. So we can't really go that far in the Canadian data because they only do the survey every 2 years, supposedly. And I'm not sure why there isn't 2023 data. Maybe I should have checked something else, but um, we have until 2021. We can see people spending meat is about $1,500 in Canada. Um, so if we compare that, like Canadian, like around 15, 17. I could also do it like converted to see how much this is, but it doesn't really make sense. This would be the equivalent of someone spending. That's a lot of money. Compared to Japan, a lot of people spend money on meat. Um, the average household, and this is per the entire year. This is monthly, which is different. So if we times this by 12, sorry, this is just all the calculations that kind of have to be done here. So per month, we could just divide it. Let's just divide it. It'll be easier. We'll do 15, 17 divided by 12. So it's about $126 Canadian that people are spending, which would equate to about 14,000 yen. So if we just take a look back at the monthly spending, so yeah, it's pretty much like way bigger though still. Canadians are spending about 14,000 per month on meat products, which is about $126, and Japanese people are spending about $60 a month. But we can see probably like these vegetables are people are spending way more on vegetables. Eating out prepared food. I don't really know what prepared food is categorized as. You can look into that more if you want, but you can see it's lower on grains. Even fish food's like pretty low down here, but it's like these kind of products. If we go to Canada, you can see things that are kind of a bit probably more prominent is going to be this cereal, baked products. Another big thing is just seems like just overall food from the stores. Restaurant, it's also one of the probably biggest things Canadians are spending money on. Restaurant meals, food purchased from restaurants, non-alcoholic beverages, um, fish and seafood. We could compare that one. It's about, so people are spending about $300 a year on fish, um, $305 a year on fish divided by 12 months. We're spending about $26 a month on fish products, which is going to be um, about 3,000 yen. So if we compare that to the fish and seafood here, it's about like $15 less, which isn't too bad. It's just a bit of a difference. But can expand this a bit. You can see the fruits. Let's compare fruits because fruits are pretty interesting. Um, Fruits and stuff like that. So we can see that the average person in Canada for the year will spend about $1,000 divided by 12. So it's about $86 Canadian. Uh, oh wait, I'll just see what 86 is, and so it's about 9,400 yen. So people are paying for way more fruits and veggies in Canada than Japan. If I look at fruits, yeah, um, significantly less in Japan. So I think we also got to take into account like what are people going to be kind of. But you can see like veggies and seaweed is way more probably. Like take a look at veggies over here in Canada. Um, Vegetables are about a little bit around the same. So we'll just say like 9,000. Yeah, it's still less than Canada, I'd say. Canadians spend more on that, but I guess it's kind of funny they had like vegetables and seaweed together, not just like is seaweed a vegetable? You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, overall, Japanese people are spending um, kind of. It seems like less overall at the grocery store, so they're buying less food just in general. I'm not going to really look at any stats because just the populations in Canada and Japan are different, so it's just like the amount of food that's being made and stuff is going to be significantly different because it's like hundreds of millions of people difference. So, um, but yeah, let me know what you think about this. I'm actually going to go. There's one more thing I have here. Yeah, this Excel sheet, but we kind of already went over it. So you can see like the price differences in Japan over just this past year. So we'll just do some recent things, but you can see that some prices go down. So like a mandarin goes down a little bit. It's uh, it's a little bit cheaper than what it was in 2023. You can see these white potatoes are going up though. Sweet potatoes up. Asparagus is going up. So overall, a lot of these products are going up. Octopus goes up quite a lot, about like even almost a whole dollar. Um, so we can see that, but things like tuna fish are getting a little bit cheaper. So there are some things that get like horse and mackerel. It's going a bit down too. So this just might be trends, and people want more things like um, this sea bean or something like that. I mean, it went up 4 yen, which isn't too much, but we can see all these things. Cuttlefish are going up, octopus, prawns. These things are going up. Oysters stayed the same. Cabbage went up significantly. Holy smokes. Um, that's one of the biggest ones I've seen. Chinese cabbage is kind of okay. Um, Lettuce went up a huge amount too. So that's pretty significant, like numbers that are doubling like that. Um, but yeah, I don't think I had any kind of detailed stuff like that for Canada because the breakdown's just a bit different. You can see how they get these surveys and stuff like that too. It's like I don't like they only interview a few select people and stuff like that, and then kind of from those random selections they make this data. So just be aware, it's not like they interview every person or they keep track of everyone's data and then like everyone's credit cards and see like what they're spending. It's more like they just do an analysis of pretty much in stats. What I know is like it can be like as long as it's more than 30 people, they can say it's a significantly statistical, probability or whatever the fuck. But the p values matter. If anybody in data knows that. Let me know what you think of this video. Did you, what do you think of prices? If you're from Japan, what have you noticed? If you're from Canada, what have you noticed at the grocery store? Yeah, I thought this was pretty interesting because I'll be going to Japan, so it's it's kind of a bit nice that my money's going to go a bit further and I don't really have to worry about this kind of stuff as a foreigner who mostly has foreign currency where I can invest in banks in like Canada and kind of get a better interest rate, because in Japan it's like 1% or something you get back. At least in Canada and stuff you can get like, or like 0.1%, but at least in Canada you get at least like 1 point something. So it's like quite a bit of a difference. But I might be wrong on that. I can't really remember. Um, but there's definitely like a pretty big difference in how far your interest rate can go and stuff like that. So if you like to learn about kind of like what finance is, I can definitely get into more of that in videos. But other than that, I hope you're doing well. Make sure you kind of treat yourself to some nice food every once in a while and keep yourself healthy. Uh, Eat vegetables and stuff like that. And yeah, don't really worry about what other people are doing too much. We're all spending too much at restaurants and stuff like that. But, you know, we also got to keep those industries alive and support our common folks out there. So keep going, people. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.